The border is physical, but also psychological and social, and ultimately profoundly political.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have the opportunity to meet with José Manuel Alvarez to discuss the process of implementation of the agreement between the United Kingdom and the European Union in relation to Gibraltar, and we are doing now, gearing up towards the 15th of July.
Hoy, en este mismo momento, toda España mira hacia la línea y hacia el campo de Gibraltar por lo que está a punto de ocurrir a partir del 15 de julio.
Some people cross the borders, others don't or can't. Some people do it openly, others not so openly. Gibraltarians, for the first time, they have the choice. Choice is always a prerogative, and you will ultimately decide whether to pass on Janito or not, whether to be multilingual or monolingual. Whatever you do, it is okay, and only for you to decide.
A worry for my grandchildren, not for me. I've had a life. Whatever I think, I feel it's already over. It's other generations that need to look after what kind of Gibraltar we aspire to. And we will have to defend what we are, you know? Echar un poquito de cara in being proud of what we are and not being defensive, being saying, this is what we are, and survive.
I think that the older generation, my grandparents, see it in a completely different light than I would see it in. I think I'm looking at it from a point of view of opportunity and growth, whereas they have more negative experiences between Gibraltar and Spain. And I think, you know, whether it's right or wrong, it's only natural that they're going to see things in a different light because they've had these lived experiences, these lived negative experiences. So I think whenever it comes to a topic to do with the border, they're always going to be much more sensitive because they've had to deal with so many hardships across the years. You know, my grandfather had a family in Spain, and I remember he tells me stories that when a baby was born, they had to sort of hold him up above the border because they couldn't actually go and see them. And I think that is instill these negative ideas and feelings in them, which of course would make them more oppositional to something like this. But then again, I feel like whether that's right or wrong, like I said, it's an only natural thing to happen. I think lived experiences does shape how a person sees things and how open they are to maybe change those points of views as well.
Soy Manoli, mi padre trabaja en Gibraltar. Desde pequeña he vivido todo lo que él me contaba y siempre venía sudando de la bicicleta, me decía, sécame la espalda. Me emociono cuando me acuerdo de él.
La frontera para nosotros era un mundo aparte porque, claro, allí solo podían entrar los trabajadores españoles en Gibraltar que tenían pase, ¿no? Y fueron muchos. No había trabajo en la línea, nadie madrugaba, salvo los trabajadores españoles en Gibraltar, que por la mañana temprano cogían sus bicicletas casi todos y se ponían en marcha a Gibraltar y después a la vuelta le traían caramelos a sus hijos. Nosotros aquí no teníamos caramelos ni nada, los que no trabajábamos allí en Gibraltar.
Soy linense, he vivido la vida en Gibraltar, he estado relacionada toda mi vida desde pequeño, a través de mi padre que fue trabajador en Gibraltar, que perdió el pase, que tuvo que buscarse la vida después con el cierre de la frontera.
At 11:30 at night, Spanish guards closed the frontier gates and the final land link between Spain and the Rock was broken. In June 1969, the Spanish government struck its hardest blow against Gibraltar. Overnight, General Franco ordered the withdrawal of the Spanish labor force from the Rock and closed the land frontier. This was perhaps the most dramatic decision taken by Madrid in its campaign against Gibraltar since 1964. Scenes on that day, which was a Sunday, were pathetic. never to be forgotten.
They would take a big box, because it was utensils, and that box went over with them. And I saw that, and it was a chaotic time for me, or for the day, because I kept seeing men arriving in other cars, most of them crying. It was the life coming to an end, work-wise, and I think they were all very worried. And my father did that. He actually helped all his friends until the last one. And I experienced that. And it wasn't a bad day for me, because I was young, but I knew something was happening. And then my father explained it, that Franco, to put pressure on us, played around with his own people and took them over. And then we later found out that months later, most of them had gone to various places in Europe.
Bueno, lo que os recuerdo que llegó mi padre una noche, porque nosotros antes de acostarnos siempre lo esperábamos que llegara él. Y llegó súper preocupado, y lo que yo recuerdo es esto, que hablaba con mi madre, que cierran la frontera, que nos quedamos sin trabajo. Y el recuerdo lo tengo. Después recuerdo que al día siguiente llegó con cosas de herramientas y cosas que tenían allí. Y a poco tiempo me veo yo subido ya en un tren en dirección a Vizcaya. Allá el tren con otros españoles de aquí de la línea, que nos fuimos juntos, dirección París, donde nos fuimos. Yo tenía 7, mi hermana Manoli 8 y mi hermano Pepe 9, algo así. Y mi madre embarazada, y bueno, y mi hermana Dore recién nacida, chiquitita. Y todo el mundo en un tren. Porque le decían, y dice, no, os vamos a dar trabajo. Pero dice mi padre, yo no puedo esperar. Había gente que esperaron y después le dieron trabajo en el hospital y eso. Pero yo dice mi padre, yo no puedo esperar con 5 niños a ver si me dan trabajo o no me dan trabajo. Entonces empezó a echar los papeles para ir a Australia, lo tenía datos preparado, y justo cuando 2 o 3 días antes lo llama un familiar de Francia y le dice, no te vayas a Australia porque como vayas a Australia nunca va a volver. Y al final nos fuimos a Francia.
And that was it. And then he closed the frontier. And it was closed for 15 years.
A partir de ahí, pues, entramos en el tema del cierre de la frontera, las relaciones con Gibraltar y nuestro gobierno dictatorial de entonces, de Franco, eran muy malas. Nos enfrentaban a unos y a otros constantemente, y en 1966 retiró el pase el gobierno de España a 3.000 o más de 3.000 trabajadoras, mujeres, que trabajaban en Gibraltar. Dijeron, todas las mujeres que trabajan en Gibraltar hasta esta fecha, pues se les quita el pase, hasta el momento ya del cierre de la frontera definitivo. Y aquello fue un mazazo para la línea. Si ya de por sí era pobre, la línea quedó totalmente destrozada.
La verja, algo que no tenía que haber ni cerrado nunca, porque hay muchas familias españoles, linenses, que se han casado o han hecho sus parejas con gibraltareños, y entonces cuando cerraron quedaron muchas familias rotas.
We adapted from a freedom that we had of going over to Spain. We used to go to the countryside. We used to go to the beaches, and that was stopped. That was stopped. So Gibraltar had to automatically change because it was something new, and we had to survive. And we are a surviving people. Gibraltarians, you hit them hard, and they bring up their head even quicker. But they left us also without vegetables, and all that came from Morocco, which I am very, very, I have to give thanks to them. I have a lot of Moroccan friends, and they helped us out.
And the frontier area became the favourite picnic site.
Well, at the time, I remember I was about 6 or maybe 7, and the frontier was completely closed. I think you had to get a special permit at the time to be able to travel via the sea to go to Algeciras. And I was very sick as a child because I had a lot of bronchitis. So the doctor at the time recommended that I go on a vegan diet. And all the supplies were sourced in Spain. And I had to take these little capsules that were made or extracts from the bee, and I had to mix it with water and take them as capsules in the morning. And that was for me to sort of like completely stop taking animal products and go on a vegan diet. And it did help massively.
Creo que es una vergüenza que hayan dos pueblos separados uno de otro, ¿no? Porque son dos pueblos y están separados, están unidos en familia, una familia allí y otra aquí, y que tengamos que estar aquí de esta manera, ¿no? Pudiendo estar a 5 minutos de paso con la familia, y tenemos que estar separados.
Are you looking forward to the frontier opening?
Yes, I am.
Why is that?
Well, I've got, my wife is Spanish, and she's got a sister there in La Línea, and she's always want to go there to see her.
Are you looking forward to the frontier opening?
Well, I don't care very much.
Why is that?
I don't care, man. I haven't got any family there, so I don't mind.
So for you it would be the same with it
exactly
open?
The same, yes. If it's closed, it's better for me.
Will you be happy with the frontier open for Gibraltar?
I think so, yes. I think the people here in the border they're really happy when that border opens.
¿Dónde está la llave? That is the gentleman who has it. The gate is now open and will remain open now for a long time, hopefully, so that families on both sides of the frontier can communicate with each other. That is the gentleman who is responsible for the opening.
Estábamos en casa viendo la televisión, había habido muchos intentos para ver si se reabría la frontera de nuevo o no, pero aquella noche parece ser que parecía que iba a ir por cierto, ¿no? La línea ha sido, como han explicado compañeros que han vivido toda esta situación, ha sido una ciudad totalmente marginada por España, lo sigue siendo. La línea ha sido abandonada a su suerte, a la suerte de Gibraltar, al amparo de Gibraltar, y aquí no han hecho nada por la línea. La situación para los gibraltareños fue cambiando tremendamente. Es cierto que Gibraltar prosperó hasta el punto de que hoy es el número 2 por estatus de personas, de trabajadores con el PIB más alto de todo el mundo, el número 2 hoy día en el ranking último de 2025. Luxemburgo es el primero. Y la línea, por contrariedad a todo eso, éramos la ciudad más pobre de toda Europa, porque ha sido reconocido así por Cáritas, ha sido reconocido por otros institutos también. Y para los trabajadores españoles en Gibraltar la frontera ha sido un crimen, el hecho de las colas que se hacían. Si había uno con ideas nacionalistas, franquistas o ultras, en la frontera no pasaba ni Cristo. La frontera decía 1,4, 1,5, 1,6, quería decir un vehículo cada 4, cada 5, cada 6 minutos, porque eso lo sabíamos por ellos mismos. Y nos tenían en la frontera los que trabajábamos en Gibraltar y volvíamos para España, o cuando entrábamos nos tenían en las fronteras totalmente sacrificados. O sea, llegaban momentos en los que las colas eran de 14 horas y se decía, aquí no pasa nadie.
And when we used to go to Spain and cross the frontier, we used to queue for hours and hours and hours. Why? Because when we reached the front of the queue, in the old days, when the Guardia Civil had the tables and the customs on the side, everybody used to have to get out of the car, take out their suitcases, put them on the tables, and the Guardia Civil would search them. And that took hours. Nowadays, people are complaining that they're in the queue for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, 3 hours. Sometimes we were in the queue for a whole day.
bueno, hasta el día de hoy ya, en lo que he dicho antes, ¿no? De que se pretende hacer esta zona Schengen de prosperidad compartida, que podría significar a lo mejor el levantamiento de la línea.
Creo que se va a quitar la frontera y empieza un poco la van a destruir, vamos. No te puedo decir porque igual a lo mejor perjudica toda la zona o la beneficia, pero en principio yo creo que es una incógnita cómo va a ir evolucionando todo a la larga, la verdad.
Well, I mean, it's historical. I mean, I've been very much involved in defending the rights of Gibraltar for the last 35 years in London. This is it's a change of our culture, there's no doubt about it, and a lot of our history is going to disappear. So, but I said, I don't think we have any options to go into this agreement, but just got to wait and see how it's all going to work out.
But one thing that I think needs to be borne in mind is that the land frontier and showing passports at the frontier is something that came about because Franco decided it was necessary. Because prior to Franco, prior to 1936, if you wanted to go to Spain from Gibraltar, you just walked in and out as if it were going in and out of your own house. So there was no control. So what we're doing now is we're going back to something that existed before.
It's going to be really, really interesting. It's a huge change. Of course, the border coming down is something we've never seen before, no? Even my grandparents, for example. I'm excited. I think it does bring a lot of opportunities. You know, my university course, currently my dissertation is going to be on these big changes that we've had. And whether we like it or not, there are going to be things that we won't like, and we're going to have to kind of put up with it.
Well, at the moment, what I think is everybody's very uncertain. You hear all different things, what's going to happen, that the frontier is coming down on the 10th and it's not. So I think their worry is, when is it actually going to happen, how it's going to affect us?
Well, I think it's just another phase. We've had lots of phases in Gibraltar's past. This is another one. It's a challenge, a big challenge. But then I think the Gibraltarians have shown that they're up to meeting challenges, even if they're difficult.
At the moment, we don't know exactly what effect it's going to have, except that I fear that Main Street will change.
There will be opportunities, so there are going to be some people who are going to benefit from this, and there are others who are going to have to change the way they do things. But then, if you don't change, if you don't adapt, if you don't innovate, then you become static and you go down a very slippery slope.
My work may be better as I work with tourism and that, but I prefer my security as a Gibraltarian than the money. I'm more about the people and more about the family than the money. I'd rather lose a bit of money or whatever and have my security and keep our culture as it's always been. I know that our parents would turn around in our graves again. So they would die again, our grandparents, if they knew what was happening, what we were selling.
Look, I think that you know, we live in a world where there's free movement in most places. I don't believe in the fact that law and order is a matter of preventing people coming in or going out. I think law and order is something that has to be kept by the government of the nation in which we live. And I don't find that in any way frightening or in any way scary. I think it's living in the real world.
The way things are going over there, the way I'm seeing it, I see things improving over there. I see there's a lot of good things happening across the other side of the border as well. So I think in the long run, it'll all interlink, and hopefully La Linea Gibraltar will be united even better. I think so, but not everybody agrees.
Well, I've got my doubts about whether it's going to be a good or bad thing, in the sense we're not going to be as safe as we are. We don't know what type of people are going to be coming in and out. Yo que sé, I can't enlarge more on that because we, like I say, we have to wait and see.
My feelings are mixed. On the one hand, from a practical point of view, as an individual, I go to Spain quite a lot, so coming in and out of the frontier without any passport controls or anything like that is a great benefit, because you don't have to sit in a queue for hours or whatever, you know what I mean? So from that point of view, I find it good. On a wider scale, on the macro scale, I don't know. The proof is in the pudding, I would say, no? What we need to do is, rather than criticize or have opinions that are a bit too critical of the frontier opening, is see what happens. It could be a great benefit for Gibraltar.
To be honest with you, as I see it, if border really get removed, probably sky-raising prices in Gibraltar. Same will happen to La Linea. It will be easier for us cross-frontier workers just to cross due to queues. I don't expect any more queues, but what in the real life will change, besides prices, the rest is to see, literally. Like, it's something that I cannot even imagine how it will look like in real life.
No sentimos apoyo ninguno, ni el gobierno, y sé que el alcalde de la línea está haciendo todo lo posible por reunirse y darnos algún tipo de información y apoyo, pero estamos acostumbrados ya a esta situación. ¿Que nos afecta a diario? No, vivir con un poco de esperanza que un día se nos reconozca las cotizaciones pagadas en Gibraltar, en España, cuando nos llegue el momento de la jubilación, que es la mayor preocupación de los trabajadores españoles.
Hombre, las pensiones de los españoles, lo que nos quedan es muy bajo, es muy poco. Eso decían que iban a hacer, que iban a solucionar, pero no, hasta ahora no se ha llegado a nada.
¿Quién iba a decir que una persona que está criando a su hija en la universidad, con otra que está malita, cuidando 3 hijos, pagando una hipoteca, con 50 y tantos años, que quiere salir adelante y lo único que le quedaba comerse el finiquito de la empresa o hacerse autónomo? No había. Y que encuentre un trabajo en Gibraltar, en oficina, comiendo con el dueño, de secretario, manejando las claves, los ordenadores, todo, en la gloria. Y que tenga que renunciar uno a eso, porque entonces no llegan las cotizaciones. Yo, de verdad, me siento indignado con el pueblo. En España no sabe esto. El castigo que hace al español, que va a trabajar a un sitio, que tiene una oportunidad y que lo castiga por ir a trabajar a Gibraltar, no lo entiendo. Como sigo sin entender como linense que el pueblo de la línea siempre está olvidado de la administración.
I think for me personally, being in the media sector, it's super positive to have easy access down the coast to places like Marbella, Malaga, Sevilla, etc. So I think that's for every sector. It opens up a lot more doors for young people in Gibraltar, having such easy access to other regions in Spain.
Well, having seen the whole history of this, from Brexit in 2016, obviously I am delighted that there's going to be freedom of movement of both goods and people. I think it's very important that we get rid of that border, because I think it's something that we owe to history to get rid of, and I think we're going to really take off in the area because of this opportunity. One of my wishes for the frontier opening is that at last we're able to resolve the social issues that seem to always crop up. I would ask for a real, in Spanish you would call it hermanamiento, with the surrounding area. I think, and I would look to the young people to look positive at this and take it as an opportunity for really becoming brothers in the area.